Yo, Adam Saxon here with Guy in a Cube, and I am in Redmond today. We're going to talk about CDSA with my colleague Matthew Roche.
Yes, come to the dark side, Adam.
The Common Data Service for Analytics?
The invite said CDSA. I thought it meant come to the dark side, Adam.
No.
But we could talk about the Common Data Service for Analytics too, I suppose.
Okay. If it's your first time finding us, be sure to hit that subscribe button to stay up to date with all the videos that we do on this channel. Matthew, thank you for joining me.
Well, thank you very much for having me.
You are the master of CDSA right now?
I am learning CDSA as it develops. One of the great things about working at Microsoft is you get to get your hands on new technologies before they're available to anyone else. And today what I want to do is I want to show and talk about the value that the Common Data Service for Analytics provides. As you can tell, we'd like to call it the Common Data Service for Analytics, or CDS for Analytics, to avoid really very obvious, easy errors like come to the dark side,
like
Adam.
Dark side,
Anyone could have made that mistake.
Bad, right?
No.
I didn't. That's
We'll talk later.
Okay.
So the Common Data Service for Analytics is a new capability coming to Power BI this year. It's currently in private preview.
Ooh, I know Power BI.
You know Power BI? Will you introduce us? Okay, later. So the key thing is that the Common Data Service for Analytics, new capability coming to Power BI, going to be building essentially a schematized self-service data lake that's part of the Power BI platform. It's going to complement the capabilities that are already there and light up new scenarios. One of the things that I would recommend is that you take a look at the video that Arun and Patrick recorded and released in March of this year as part of our...
We'll have that linked above.
We'll have that, yes. The magic of YouTube, it will be there, or maybe in the links below.
And in the description below.
To do that. Yes,
links down below.
In that... the data that's in CDSA, the Common Data Service for Analytics, uses the common data model, which is informed by Microsoft's decades of experience with the Dynamics applications and XRM, if you're familiar with that. So we have this common data model with schemas for business entities where you can load in data from Dynamics, from Salesforce, from other ERP and other package applications, or from your custom applications, load them into this pre-existing schema. CDS for Analytics has the power of Azure storage behind the scenes, so it's leveraging the entire Azure data platform, or the power of the Azure data platform for advanced scenarios. But with this common data model, you can load your data in, and Microsoft is producing applications for sales insights and marketing insights and other integrated end-to-end capabilities. So simply by having your business data in CDS for Analytics, you get pre-built ML models, pre-built reports, integration into your applications, lots of capabilities. So check out Arun and Patrick's video for that. What I want to focus on is the CDSA core capabilities in Power BI.
Okay.
And what I'd like to do is to jump into a demo. So can we just head in there?
You guys know how we like to do it. Let's go to the computer.
Excellent. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to come over into Power BI, and let's actually take a look at some data. So I'm working on a demo for a session that hopefully they will approve for our Insights Summit this summer.
Business Application Summit.
That's the Business Application Summit.
Yes.
That's bad with names. Good with demos.
Yes.
So I'm a pretty big metal fan, and
No.
It's true. And there is this awesome resource that's out there. It's metalarchives.com, or Encyclopedia Metallum, as some might call it, which is a great resource that has information about hundreds of thousands of heavy metal bands with their history, their discography, past and current members, things like that.
Sweet.
But I find its lack of API disturbing. But the nice thing is, I recently found that there's actually a community REST API where you pass in an ID, you get back a JSON document describing this.
I like JSON.
I like JSON as well. Shame he's not on the team, but we'll make him work sometime. But the sad thing is, each one of these calls takes a second or two, so you're going to call it a couple 100,000 times. There's problems. So it's not something that easily works from Power BI desktop.
And we're going to make all of you wait while it processes. No.
So we have a data source. Let's actually see how we can get that into our Power BI workspace. So as you see here in our Power BI Cat Team workspace, in addition to the resources that you're used to seeing with dashboards, reports, workbooks, and data sets, there is a new entity type called data pools. And a data pool is the schematized asset that is backed by the Common Data Service for Analytics. And we can create a new one using the same gesture that we're used to. Once we have the data pool created, we can add one or more entities to it. The thing that you're about to see is the Power Query experience in the browser. So the capabilities for CDS for Analytics use the same M engine and the same M queries that you're used to seeing in Power Query.
So this is like Power Query webinized.
Absolutely.
All right.
The execution.
It's an official term, technical term.
Weaponized. It's the webification of Power Query. So you'll notice that we don't yet have full parity with the data sources that Power Query in the desktop supports. As we move towards public preview and GA, we'll have more and more supported.
We'll get there.
Yeah, we'll get there. We're making progress as we speak. What I'm going to do is I'm going to choose a blank query, and I'm going to take this query. There we go. This obviously something that I've spent some time working on.
Yep. You just hand type that all in right now.
I could do that. Matt Mason could do that if you ever get him to join you.
Oh, I know.
But instead of having the 1,000, there we go, your keyboard, not mine, I'm going to drop the number of bands that we're loading in down from 1,000 to 200 because that will go at least a little bit more quickly.
We'll hit next and we'll wait.
We'll hit next. We're not.
No, it's not going to process yet.
Check this out. It's not going to take that long. We have that same interactive data mashup experience that we get in Power Query in the desktop.
So this is probably going to take a while. Do we have to wait for this?
No, absolutely not. So you can see that even though we pasted in the M, the UI is smart enough to build up the steps. The one thing we want to do.
We do want to give it a name.
We do want to give it a name. How about Dark Side Cube Guide?
Ooh, there you go.
Yeah. So we may in the real world want to choose something that is a little bit more descriptive and appropriate, but this will work for today. So
But if the Empire wanted to do this might be appropriate.
Yes.
Okay.
The Death Cloud Star. Now, this is where the ETL nature of the CDS for Analytics experience comes in.
Okay.
Up until this point, it's basically been Power Query as we know it, but in the browser. The key thing here, the big difference here, is that we now have the opportunity to map the shape of the query that we've just defined, that data set that we built in M, to map this into an entity in our data store, in the underlying CDS for Analytics store. And if we are pulling in data from an actual business system, what we'll very likely want to do is to select one of these existing entities that are part of that common data model. And you can see there are dozens and dozens of them.
These are pre-built entities.
These are pre-built entities, and the key thing is those insights applications and the models and other experiences that Microsoft and third parties will be creating, they know how to work with these entities. So similar to an interface in traditional programming where you can write against the interface regardless of the underlying implementation, here these common data model entity definitions serve as a data interface of sorts. So here, if I choose account, I will see all of the attributes that make up a common data model account.
Nice.
I can map my data into it, and any application that knows how to work with accounts can work with these accounts regardless of the original source.
Reminds me of like the SSIS where I'm dragging the mapping things together.
It is incredibly close to that. Any ETL tool that you work with, one of the final steps is to map your inputs into that data source. It's exactly what we're doing here, just
now,
the
can
processing
I add
is
my
different.
own entities?
This is exactly what we're going to do.
Like starships, or you
can
never know
add
what you need.
Starships. So far, the engineering team has been resistant when I've insisted that there be a heavy metal band entity in the common data model.
Right? You need it.
I wouldn't ship without it, but it's a battle that I'm still fighting.
Maybe in a release, like a monthly release after.
Yes.
Maybe.
V2,
Yeah.
V6.
I feel an idea item coming about that everyone should go vote on.
That's an excellent idea. That's
We
ideas.powerbi.com
have a link right here.
/metal.
Yes.
So we've built our mashup. We've mapped it to the new entity that we're creating. And when we're done, we hit commit. We now have all of the metadata for this available. I will choose save. I will simply call it data pool demo.
Sure.
I love that the description is required. I am a metadata guy, and the fact that we're requiring there to be both a name and a description.
Does a space work?
I don't know if a space
that's worked
works.
in other dialogues that
we're gonna save this without testing this. That's dirty laundry. We're not going to. We're not going to air right now. But we've saved our changes. We're closing it. We now have our data pool that we've just created, and I'm going to hit refresh.
Ooh.
Now, the other thing that I want to show is that we already have this other one. So it's sort of like the pre-baked
It's a cooking show, right?
It's a cooking show.
We're going to go right to the finished product.
But I have also, I've loaded this with some data, and then I increased that 200 count up to 20,000.
And
so
it's still going.
It's still running.
All right.
But you have an administrative experience in the portal so that you can check status, you can look at the history. There are various actions that you can perform. What I want to do instead is move over into Power BI Desktop, because what is the point of having data if you can't visualize
How
it
do I use
in
it?
Power BI Desktop?
Right.
So as with any data source, I will come up to the Get Data experience and notice.
I like how we're very thoughtful and we put the most used data sources here.
That's right. Who doesn't use the Power BI data pools beta?
Well, and like we got SQL
connector?
and all the ones that people use most, right?
That is true.
Right.
And
We're thoughtful like that.
We're being notified that this is a preview connector, so the experience may not yet be up to par with what we have in our production connectors. But we essentially will see all of the data pools for all of the workspaces that we have access to.
Right.
It's automatically authorizing because I've signed in, and I can then choose. And again, because the data pool that we've just created is probably going to take a good 5 minutes for that data to load, I will choose the existing one, same query, just a different instance. I will load this into our Power BI desktop model.
It looked there that when I did that, I had an option of doing additional Power Query on top of it, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, so this is just another data source.
It's just another data source. I could mesh it up. I could do horizontal or vertical partitioning. I can treat it like I would with any tabular data that's coming in.
Yeah.
So I can pull down things like band names.
Let's move that over there.
Oh, let's move this over
move it
here.
over there.
I'm going to grab a visualization that will allow me to display, let's say, our band logo URL. Right. And we do this, we switch it over to our new thingy, we drag this guy over here, we expand it out a little bit.
Right.
So the key thing here is all of this data is being loaded from the Common Data Service for Analytics. We connect using that data pool connector, and because this is both metal and May the 4th, let's go to my favorite Polish death metal band, Vader. So
love it.
Love it. So
excellent.
This is the Common Data Service. New capability coming to Power BI this summer. In private preview right now. Public preview coming this summer. Can't wait to see what people do with it.
And then once we have a report, we can just publish that to the service. Does this and I'm assuming it's similar to the Power BI service data sets where it's like a live connection. All the data is in CDSA. It gets refreshed there.
All the data is in the Common Data Service for Analytics. The refresh is handled on the back. You can set up schedules. You can set up credentials. All of the things that you would expect. The backing store is different, so it's in Azure storage behind the scenes, which gives you the programmatic scenarios where if you have a data scientist or data engineer that is used to working with file blob data in Azure storage, they can connect to the Azure storage directly to manipulate that data as if it were just another set of Azure files, really enabling enterprise data lake scenarios with that application integration on top of it.
Cool. Probably the question most people are probably thinking right now is, who's this really targeted to? Like what's the target?
Well, that's a great question. I assume that what most people are really thinking is, why didn't we look at Man-O-War first?
This is true, yes.
But that's the second question might be, who is it targeting?
Yes.
And the
obviously Man-O-War fans, right?
So the key thing here for the persona target is that it will extend the technical personas that the Power BI administrative or Power BI service capability targets today.
Okay.
So someone who wants to pull in data from multiple data sources, essentially taking any data that you can connect to using Power Query to land this in a central store at scale. The current plan is that for Power BI premium customers, you will have 100 terabytes of CDS for analytics storage with each Power BI premium node.
That's a lot.
For Power BI Pro accounts, the CDS for analytics storage will be part of your per user quota.
Yeah.
So you have both the individual experience and the experience at scale, and through capabilities that we're calling bring your own storage. That bring your own storage capability will allow customers that are already using Azure to take their Azure subscriptions and plug them in to extend and enable additional scenarios beyond what's out of the box. True end-to-end data engineering and data science platform.
Cool. All right, guys, what do you think? Let us know. It's early stages. It's new. So what are your thoughts on it? Do you think this is going to be useful for your organization? Are you going to use it? Go ahead and let us know down in the comments below, and we will answer the questions as best we can. If you like the video, be sure to give it a big thumbs up. Smash it if you so desire. If it's your first time here, hit that subscribe button. And from Patrick, myself, and Matthew, thank you so much for watching. Keep being awesome, and we'll see you in the next video. Now's your cue.
Oh, now is my cue. And may the 4th be with you.
Always.
Always.